for a while. I've just found out that we can definitely simulcast since October 2023. Sorry, I wasn't aware that actually I can multi-stream on Twitch and other platforms since October, like simulcast in terms of simulcast. And I wasn't aware. Therefore, I've added Twitch on the same list with Facebook, YouTube, and Kick.com. So that was a good stuff, and I'm sorry I didn't know this previously because I would have done it more often with Twitch included. So now we are here. Now we do it like this. We're going to do it like this now. So let's give it a few minutes and see what is going on with the second round today. I had a sandwich and another coffee, probably as per the contenders. Right. So actually, I had a conversation with a Twitch friend of mine, Pranav. He actually did tell me that it might be a modification in terms of the policy and terms and conditions with the Twitch, which I was not aware of. But that is good. That is good. That is good indeed. So we're using chess.com now. Chess.com. Rook a7. What's going on? That's one hell of a game we want to watch here. Rook, I reckon, amongst many other things, amongst very many other things. Covering the 7th rank. Does you want, well, there might be a multi-purpose move. A very multi-purpose move. I think with white, you would be interested in trying to challenge those two white pawns. But how exactly you're going to do that? Can we play? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to. I was about to say if you can actually try this. Reason would be if black is to take, there is rook h3. That's quite a nice type of pressure along the h file. So that might be a thing. That might be a thing. I am going to check something here until my potential viewers will be joining. Let me check something. Where's the thing? So, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's good they modified the policy. That's quite important. So shout out to all the streamers out there, guys. You could use as a simulcast Twitch, YouTube, and whatever other platforms you reckon might be beneficial for your growing the network. So keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Okay. So I don't. It's a bit of a poisonous pawn here. I don't think black really wants to take the h4 pawn. I don't think they want to take it. So he needs to come with something else. I'm loving this knight's position as well, targeting the b6 constantly. It's a painful thing for the black queen to have to keep an eye on the b6 black pawn. So but more importantly is that white wants to push h5. That's for sure. So that's exactly what I want to do. Reason being, you're undermining the g6, and you would like to have your rook attacking the king, which is not in the most ideal position. Given the rook presence on the g file, it's quite complicated for black. Very unpleasant indeed. The prospect of pawn advancement and then g6, it's very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. Notice how the bishop on c8 can't do a great deal of nothing. The bishop, I don't even know what you're supposed to do with that bishop. The only thing you might do with this bishop, though, can you? As a matter of urgency, can you? Or I'm missing stuff here. Is bishop f5 to be considered? I genuinely am curious about it. If bishop f5 would do something. I mean, what else? Let's put it in terms of what else. So bishop f5. Yeah, I guess. I mean, h5 is going to happen. Let's put it this way. h5 is going to happen. And if h5 happens, you may just simply want to put some stuff to further protect f5. And if pawn takes, potentially you might take back with the bishop, right? So, yeah. If you got different ideas, guys, or if you want to treat this position differently, feel free to tell me, guys. Feel free to tell me. Yeah, I'm gonna play this guy later on. Right, that would have been nice to having a window here displaying the other two games in progress without me going left click. Do you know what I mean? Because it looks like from this interface, if I want to visit the other two games happening, like Dingley Ren playing, Daniel Friedman, I gotta go left click in order to seeing those games as well. So yeah, maybe they should be adding something. So we got Daniel Friedman, Vincent, and Dingley Ren, Maxim Vachier-Lagrave. I like the game that Magnus is playing with the Richer report. Let's look a bit at this one too. Dingley Ren being white here, and Maxim Vachier being black. Whose turn is now? MVL's. Blacks to move. Blacks to play. Is it this? Just trying to highlight, just trying to... this bishop here, you can't say it's not good. This bishop on g7 is a monster of a bishop. Getting the rook on the same c file where the white queen is. Well, you can't play the knight as of now, but... you know, it could be some queen supporting then. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, what does it do with the bishop c2? Now, what do you think queen does on d8? Queen on d8 does, I'm streaming just a little bit now. All right, so queen to d8 now. Defends the c8. That means they could play the black knight somewhere. When this knight goes somewhere, the rook actually hits the queen. Protected by the queen. The rook hits the queen, yeah, and the rook is defended by its own queen, so yeah. That's something that Dingley Ren has to think about. He needs to think about this idea as well. And all in all, queen has to relocate. Let's put it this way. Queen has to go somewhere. Where do you move the queen? Queen e2, there you go. Exactly as we had specified. Queen had to move. Queen e2. The bishop here on c2 covers all the line squares, so, you know, this guy is a little bit limited unless you want to play stuff like this and like this, which I'm not fully convinced, but it could be an idea. On the other hand, the bishop is thriving on the open diagonals, which can't be opposed by the same color bishop. Therefore, this guy is very dangerous. He pushes h5. Okay. Very playable. This is very playable. Let me just go back a little bit and check on other games. .mvl, let's see, what did Magnus and Richard did here? So rook played here. Let's go back a bit. H4. I thought bishop f5, but actually she did the rook f7. What is it cooking? Can I push h4? I mean, is there a problem if I play this? I really want to play h5. h4 to h5. Is it a bad idea? I don't think it's bad. What's going on? Isn't this a good move? h5. You do want to do h5, right? Why wouldn't you? I guess, still after h5, we might be seeing bishop f5? Maybe. h5, bishop f5. Oh. h5, bishop f5. I mean, if you were with white pieces here, you wouldn't think twice, right? Or maybe the secret is to think twice before you're actually committing and playing something. Well, it looks okay to me. Looks very, very, very much playable here. You guys tell me if you're having doubts about pushing h4 to h5. Again, seriously undermining the g6 square. And then opening up the rook. Quite something. I mean, it could be some other hidden ideas, but that seems to be quite strong. Quite strong. I think we might be just seeing that. Magnus is on 27 minutes. Well, 28. Richard is on 35. But I guess we very likely are going to see. If you don't play that, nothing justifies it. I mean, why do you even play h2, h4 if you don't push h5? Unless there is other urgency that I'm not aware of. Is there any other urgency? Yeah, that's the most attractive idea. To my understanding, h5 seems to be like the most attractive idea here. Definitely, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Let's have another brief look now to some other games happening. So that's Magnus and Richard. Let's see, Dingler and MVL again. Where were they last time? The game evolved a little bit from the last point where we left it. Still bishop f6. Cutting off. Carving through the board. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if queen was instead of the rook here? That would be nice. That one doesn't work because bishop takes and you can't take because the pawn is pinned. So knight d4 doesn't really work here. You have to play the queen. And then you can play the knight if that's what you want to do. And I think the knight... Okay, rook b4. Why? Why? What is he planning, Dingliran here? Looks creative, looks interesting. Is he planning on this? Maybe. Interesting. Do you think, guys, that rook b4 has to do with potential g2 to g4 ideas? Genuine question. Really genuine question. Let me know. Maybe I'm missing stuff or something. Let me try and see if I can increase the messaging stuff here, so you guys have a better picture of the messages we might get from our friends. And maybe move it a bit up here. Okay, Oh, leave it like this for the time being. We'll be readjusting as the stream continues. Queen to d8 is because queen a5. Well, oopsie. I guess we could still play g4, right? I guess we could still do that. So these kind of moves in this position here, if you combine it with the bishop, it has and the rook's presence here, amongst other things, the rook on b4 also supports knight d4 if they take up. Yeah, but I think the big intent, the real intent is g4. I think that's what Ding is planning. That's what he's planning, I guess. Okay. We didn't look at all at Vincent, like at all, for the second round here. Daniel being white, Vincent plays with black. Well, okay. Vincent's turn. Is Vincent going to castle? If not now, when? And why not? Is Vincent going to castle or is unnecessarily? Is Vincent cooking some H or G pawns advancement? And he didn't castle, guys. I think he want to do something else. I think he does want to push this, guys. And when he gets in trouble, he will be playing king either this or this way. Now Daniel wants to open up. Thanks. Takes, 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 and rook being hit. And you can always play a knight here and beautiful bishop. Look at this. Got this bishop. I mean, it's defended by the rook, but if something happens in terms of this, and this, and this, and this, there will be no longer a rook here. But obviously, Vincent is aware. Is most likely aware. It took. And boy, that's not going to happen. I think. So if pawn takes, I don't think you want to take though, because of this kind of ideas. I really doubt it. Awkward. Instead of f6, I wonder if maybe Vincent should have just castled, just play normal chess. Maybe he should have just castled. Okay, now this is the equivalent of castle. Well, not quite the equivalent. It's sort of castling. And from other point of view, moves the king away. It moves the king away from the, potential rook on the e file things. So you don't particularly want to take. You don't. With black, you... No. You don't want to do that with black. And with white, you don't really want to take, because you're going to helping black to take with either f or e, thus increasing the range for the bishop. So with white, again, you don't really want to take this guy here. So probably they'll be exploring ideas about getting rooks on the c file, playing a knight, I don't know, c4. There you go. Didn't I just say it? So knight to c4 exactly, because you may be looking at knight a5 and things like this. Of course, it's applicable. This rooks, white can move the rooks. It depends what other things happen. I like white a bit more here. This bishop is currently now blocked by its own pawns. Knight a5, I think, is looming. I think it's very likely going to happen. Knight a5 is going to happen. Oh, sure. Then we might be seeing some rooks coming to the c. It is possible. And now let's go a bit back to Magnus and Richard. Magnus and Richard. What did the boy do here? Rook f, bishop g5. Huh. Very interesting, mister. Bishop g5. Why didn't you push h5, though? So, let's assume they're going to be playing this. Just saying. Are you going to push afterwards? Maybe. If you get rid of black dark square bishop, the black king is even more naked and exposed because they lose control over the dark squares, you see? So the disappearance of the dark square bishop on f8 means that black would be weakened on the dark squares around the king. Let's put it this way. So they're going to be something. I'm not sure he's going to play bishop e7, and if you don't, you have to move the queen. And if you move the queen, question is where? c7? Because you got to keep an eye on the b6, mind you, guys. b6 is attacked by the knight. And queen is being attacked by the bishop. If you don't play bishop e7, the other option, and probably the only other option, because there is only two, bishop e7 or queen c7. That's it. I don't think black really has anything else now. This is a forcing direct attack here. Bishop e7 opted. Bishop takes immediately, so he removed the bishop guarding the dark squares. Okay. And h5, which is long overdue. I would suspect it's going to happen. Possibly. Question. Do you take with the rook or do you take with the queen? You don't take with the queen, apologies. The queen has to defend b6. They will have to take with one of the two rooks. Which one though? Well, idea is if you take with the f rook, at some point, I don't know when, you might be willing to try a pawn breakthrough when this guy disappears somewhere. But also, we could be very well seeing this either taken or pushing or something. Something's gonna happen about this guy, and about this guy too. So then again, now queen can't really take because b6 is hanging. So black is forced to take. It is. So guys, that's a forcing move. It's the power of the forcing moves. Black will have to take either with f or with e rook. There's no doubt about it. Question is which one exactly you're going to be using here. You're going to be taking with the E with the prospect of providing some defense after the h5 pawn break. You're going to take with F, potentially preparing a pawn advancement after this white knight has been traded. Questions. So that already becomes a very debatable field in the current scenario here. So what's for sure is that Richard is going to recapture back with one of the two black rooks. For sure. No if, no but. That's what's going to happen. Because there is no counterattack here. So good stuff about chess is that when you play forcing move, your opponent will just have to, be your opponent is very limited. Forcing moves means that they really don't have options. Now there's something surprising. I gotta tell you that. Guys, he took with the queen, man. He forgotten about the b6 or he had a bigger plan. And Magnus continues with h5. He continues with h5, which, by the way, we said about h5 ages ago. The normal, natural stuff you want to play here, opening the g file leading to the black king directly. So h5 is long overdue. Absolutely long overdue. That's another beautiful tactical game. White king is way more secure. And there are already a little bit of profiling of weaknesses here. So let me just highlight the weaknesses for all of our friends here. G6 is a major liability. G6 is hugely weak. That is a big fat problem here at G6. I don't know if you do bishop f5 or what can you possibly play here. But that's a problem with G6. So that's probably the biggest problem, the biggest issue for Richard's defenses here. Another potential weakness here might be the b6, but the question is maybe that pawn is so unimportant that you would rather use that knight for various other relocations and adjustments. I mean, this is quite time costly. 1, 2, and 3. Now, it's 3 tempi. 3 tempi or tempos, I don't know what's the plural of the Latin tempo, which means time. So, but knight e3 and knight g4 and knight h6 is also quite a nice threat. But the biggest threat of them all is that g6, an opening of the g file. And if you want to throw in the queen, I mean, oh boy. Just look at the queen. Look at the queen. So there is some problems over there. I think Richard is not in a very good position here. He definitely is not. He is not. Oopsie, where were we? Definitely he not. Shall we go, guys, to Vincent and Daniel and maybe Digliren and MVL? Fabulous, fabulous, exciting games. Second round now. What a treat for us chess enthusiasts. MVL 26. Hey, they had drawn. Interestingly, they had drawn here. Does that look like a draw to you? No, I don't say it's not equal or something. I don't say that. But does it look to you move 38? Do you think is a very big draw here? I mean, I was expecting white to be pushing this pawn to try to dismantle these 3 guys. I was expecting to see something along those lines, but it didn't happen. Okay, oh look, if the other guy is happy to draw, okay, but that probably could have been maybe continued slightly longer, maybe. Anyway, Dingleran drew all the games that he played at the GRENKE Open and Classic. So back to Vincent and Magnus. No, sorry, Daniel and Vincent. Okay. So something happened in the meantime. We've been here last time. Takes. So he decided to not play a knight a5, but he takes. And that opens up, as we very well said, opens up the bishop. He further undermines the f. Was it a wise for Vincent to have castle short rather than f6, king f7? Amongst others. There's a little bit of opposing the bishop, the same color bishops. So anytime anyone can initiate the trade, it might happen. But that's a very nice idea. Classical, direct, boom. Nice one. Is Vincent supposed to push this pawn? Probably. I'm not sure. It requires further investigation. Further investigation. Of course, if you take, white's going to take back with what? The rook, I would suspect, right? You're going to take back with the rook. Or with the pawn. I don't know. Notice, guys, also, please do notice the knight's ideal outpost, so to speak. It sits very well, this knight here. It can't be challenged by any pawn. So that's a wonderful, wonderful outpost. It looks like white is attacking a bit more. The bishop, the rook on a7. It's not on the most ideal square because they got to provide defense for this guy in case that white decides to trade off, unless black wants to take first. So that might be. But if black takes first, again, I think Daniel can revert to the other idea. a5 and c6. So you got to be careful about that one too. If the bishop on b7 disappears, knight a5, knight c6 are very much exploitable. So we got to keep this one in mind as well. Okie dokie. Shall we go back to Magnus and Richard? Fabulous, fabulous game they are playing here. Fabulous game, guys. So, what was the last thing that happened? We did a lot of painting here. Bishop f5, I did call this ages ago. Bishop f5 as a matter of urgency because you kind of have to. And bishop g4 now. Bishop g4, which means I'm going to take your guy. Or you're going to take the other bishop on g4. So we'll see. So we'll see. That's one hell of a game. This beautiful game here, Magnus and Richard right now playing. Oh, where did it disappear? Sorry guys, let me put a board back. Apologies. I hope we're back, right? With the board and everything. Are we back? Hold on a second. Hey, come on, can't do this. Yes, we are. Apologies, it was a bit of strange stuff there. Okay. All right, cool. Cool. So Richard's turn, black's turn to move. What is black gonna do? Really wonder. Taken on g4, not very attractive. If the bishop takes on g4, rook will have to take back. That's a forcing move, but you're still facing the pressure from the white rook and the g6 perennial issue and weakness for black here. The g6 black pawn. So they have to keep that one in mind. Again, the white queen is incredibly happy and very free to go on various places, like various places being c3 and h6. So that's a lot of power from the queen. And just, I think it's worth reminding that the b6 is kind of hanging for a while. And I guess the knight on c4 might be able to jump on e3 if necessary. So knight c4 may play on e3. But then again, let's see what Richard plays. Let's see what Richard plays here. A good question. Is there any idea about knight d3? Or, let me think. Or do you take the bishop? Probably. I mean, look, if white takes the bishop on g4, you will take back with the rook, right? Yeah, but g6 is fundamentally weak. Is so weak. So I guess bishop takes g4, but it's a problem with g6. I think white's better here. I don't want to switch on the engine. Not during the live game, but I guess g6 is a weakness. Massive weakness for Richard here. Black king is more vulnerable than the white king. White attacks more threats. Black has weaknesses. I've highlighted the weaknesses. g6 with yellow, g6 and b6 are the main weaknesses. Let's see how Magnus capitalizes on those, or if Richard finds some counter game, counter ideas. Who knows? Okay. Let me just briefly visit the other game. Daniel Vincent. Very interesting. Also, beautiful little game here. Not that much of a little game. Just this guy's pinned, fellas. It is white's turn. Okay, so if you wanna throw in a check for the sake of doing it, but it gotta be more than for the sake of doing it. So you gotta come up with a bit more than this. So you can play a check, but what's the follow up? What is the follow up of that? So, okay, just getting the rook in the game. Maybe you may think about it. So, can you do this? Or do you want to trade off first? They take. Oops, they take. Then. So let me highlight the candidate moves, and I'm going to see if I'm correct or not. Let me just highlight a couple of ideas here. I'm not sure white is very keen on taking on b7, because if that were to happen, rook takes, and then we're going to have a little bit of pressure here. To which you might reply by pushing b4, close it off the b file. But then there is an a5 coming down the board. So you got to factor in all these details, you see. So it's never that easy. So there is a consequence of taking here. Perhaps for white would be rook ad, a better choice. Rook ad and black could just take. You might take, and then black is going to play an almighty battery on the d file, and you kind of have to start trading. So yeah, say maybe. Again, this check here, I don't see what's coming up afterwards. I don't know. Maybe still this though. So let me highlight the candidate moves. This and this. And now we're going to see which one goes, or maybe none. And also some bishop being traded, but I'm not sure. Not at all. Although bishop takes, rook takes, knight plays, attacking rook, defending b3. I don't know where they go, but then you're going to push b4. And you're going to play with the knight on a5, having the c6 as a constant threat. Attacking square. So that might be the case. That might be. I don't think it's bad at all. And actually, when you have the knight a5, that puts a stop to the a6 pawn to coming down the board anyway. So I think that's not a very bad idea. I think I like this sequence. Again, bishop takes, rook takes, knight a5, attacks bishop and protects b3. Rook has to move. Rook has to move. And you have the c6 as a constant threat. And the knight on a5, on this particular situation, it's going to be that exception where a knight on the rim is actually quite nice. You tell me if you think I'm wrong, by the way, people. If you think there might be something else to it, then I'm missing it, please do. Let me know. But I think it's definitely explorable, this avenue. So, Daniel opted for b4. I reckon he still want to do this. And I think that's a very good idea. Now, this pawn can't really move down because knight's going to take straight away. So that was not a bad one. So he eliminated the weakness, which was a3. He could actually investigate this idea and maybe this. So, okay, b4. I did mention b4, but not in this order. Maybe that's the best move, actually. Who knows? Who knows? We are going to witness even more of this game development. Let's go back to Richard and Magnus. Back to Richard and Magnus. Hey, very defensive. They traded that bishop, though, guys. Didn't I say? I did highlight before. Takes, and rook g7. Well. I think you should take. If rook takes, g6 would be one lone isolated pawn. That's a good idea. Unless Magnus goes for something else. Unless he goes for something else. Knight e3 or knight b6. I think you can even allow black to take here, and you can take afterwards. Because double pawns here, it's incredibly painful. So now really I'm just inquiring. Is knight e3 conceivable? Is knight b6 too premature and it's a minor unessential pawn? Given the fact that the real battle actually takes place on the king side? Knight b6, knight a3. Maybe. Or do you play Rook fe1. What the heck, you could do many things. So rook fe1, knight e3, knight b6. Look, a pawn is a pawn. If you take knight b6, if black can't do nothing, so to speak, that is very disturbant to you, you might be able to take on b6. You just, hey, there you go, rook fe1. Didn't I call it? So I'm happy when I'm giving the candidate moves that's actually been verified in the Super GM's options. Hi there, Kalpana. Thanks for stopping by this evening. So that's the 6th round now. We're going to see Magnus Richard. Didn't I say he didn't do nothing? Now, very likely, rook's going to take. I'm happy because these moves have been anticipated. But it's the queen. Takes the pawn. Hits the queen here. He traded the queen for 2 rooks. Queen for 2 rooks. But let me tell you something else. These guys are hanging. The b6, respectively, d6 are hanging. Look, this is a very powerful stuff. Probably Magnus thought it carefully. This is very powerful. And mind you guys, if rooks are aligning themselves from the g file to hit on g2, even if you push g3, there is always h4 coming down. It's not that easy. I am aware also, if white knight takes on d6, you might be playing something funky like knight f5, preparing, clearing the way for the pawn to advance, and also at the same time, it serves the purpose of stopping this guy from moving or protecting g3 in case. There you go, knight d6. I was correct in that one too. I'm happy when actually I'm seeing that either Magnus or Richard conclude similarly as ourselves. So that's good stuff. Again, guys, I would encourage you to do this kind of analysis yourselves, either during the stream or when you're watching yourselves and stuff, because that's really great stuff to do. Rook here, attacking twice, rook and the knight. So if that wasn't obvious, but I guess you guys see always more than me. So rook and the knight attacking on d5 twice. That's something. That is definitely something. Now, if you are to lose that guy, which, by the way, was preferable for black not to, but hey, what do you do? Can you do this? You know why? If rook takes, I might be having a check here. That's a bit annoying for black. Just thinking out loud, really. Look, given the fact, ladies and gentlemen, given the fact that actually the d5 white pawn is going to be captured, why not investigating queen h6 idea? Have you got something stronger? Like knight c4 for going to this guy? I guess. Nope. Magnus pulls an f4. He does an f4. Question is, why exactly? I mean, what do you do after this? Sorry, guys, what the heck am I missing here? What's going on after rook takes? No, really, I'm a little bit taken aback now. Excuse me, rook takes... What? Oh, boy, what's this? There you go, rook takes d5. Did he... Oh, for Christ. What is that? It's checkmate, that's what it is. You take, and then the guy is going to deliver a checkmate on the back rank. Only Magnus. Oh my God. This guy is just relentless. You take the knight, and I'm checkmating your king. Can you actually believe that? I mean, I am surprised because I'm not a super GM, but Richard Report fell into this as well. And he just pushes h6 to not getting back rank checkmated. Thus, Magnus can actually play queen to e6 check. Sorry, this is just phenomenal. This is just it's a splendid tactics by Magnus. Absolutely splendid. Of course, we're going to see a check on e6, right? Well, you can expect anything from Magnus, including this. Boy, oh boy, this is so cool. Okay, I think that's the most beautiful game of this evening now. On the second round. In the previous round, it was a superb game. MVL played Richer Report, a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous tactical, splendid game. But this one now, as the second round develops, evolves, this is, yeah, Queen e6, exactly. Well, at least I've identified as Queen e6. That is cool. King's in check. You can't play King f8 because Queen to e8 just checkmate. So, oh, he resigned. It's just too much. Okay, if King were to move, would he play this? Let me just find out. Actually, let me just find out. Oh man, what a beautiful King h7, Knight f5. Actually, King h7, Knight f5 says the almighty Stockfish. Knight e8 would have worked too. So I was kind of right. No, Knight e8. Knight e8. I was correct about this one. That's a bigger threat. Knight e8. And Rook d1, but that's just a bluff. Because after Rook d1, you're just going to play h2. There's nothing going to happen here. Wow, my God, what a game. What a game. Okay, Richard has been a little bit hit this evening. I don't think that's his best. It's his best evening. It's not. And let me actually toggle off this anticipatory lines here. Because I want to move a little bit to Daniel and Vincent without having the engine during the live game. Okay. Let's look at this for a while here. Oh my God, what a game, Magna. What a move he delivered. What a move. What a move. Wow. I think Richard was as surprised as myself. This is just unbelievable. It was a checkmate on the back rank. Unbelievable. Okay. Let's look a little bit at this one here. So Rook to F. Wow, wow, and wow. Rook F2. Well, what's that doing? Well, it defends this guy against this so that you can move the knight freely around, whatever around means. So Rook F2 takes the C2 point of insertion for the black rook, so they can't take advantage of that one. But you could play actually Rook D2 and threaten a discovered check on the king here. That's quite good. So Rook F2, stopping black rook to C2 and preparing Rook D2, discovered attack on the black king. So that's what probably, that's one thought behind Rook F2. That's definitely one idea. 2-2-4, 3-2-1. Pawn majority on the queen side. We've got a pawn majority on the queen side. That's important. This is very important. Very important. Imagine, guys, imagine the pieces come off the board. If you could just remove all the pieces now. All of them. Like, not the pawns, the pieces. Rook d2. So when there is a pawn majority, that means you will be challenging the minority and you're going to be creating a pass pawn, because that's the whole idea with the pawn majority. By the way, I did a YouTube video on pawn majority. If you want, please feel free and go and watch that film, in which I was just very directly and clearly, I hope, explained that pawn majority means you are going to be trading and creating a pass pawn. And that's why it's important to recognize and take advantage of, and potentially leading the endgame to that situation in which you have just more pawns versus less pawns. And yeah. Okay, Rook D2 probably. Vincent 9 minutes and Daniel Friedman 20 minutes. Okay, that is cool. That is cool indeed. So Rook D2. Rook D2. I did say it. I couldn't find a better square anyway. The rook can't be attacked by the bishop. And again, we've got ideas like this. But let me just actually pay a little bit of attention. Can you do this? Eggs. I'm not sure. Probably you cannot. Not like this. Let's see what Vincent comes up with. What can you possibly play here? This kind of idea, but if you do this, there is always this. So you can't really move the knight. If you're dreaming of knight g5, knight e4 ideas, as soon as you move the black knight, there is knight c5 check, king, and a6. So that, I think it's got to be understood. And I hope I got this correctly. So if black, for instance, plays now knight g5, there is knight c5 and white is winning the pawn on e6. That's the game. That is the very reason for which Vincent played the king from d7 over to e7 so that he no longer is finding himself in a pin, thus releasing the knight to play whatever the heck they want to move their knight to. Now, of course, we might be designing h4, which takes the g5 from the black knight. That might be the case very well indeed. We're going to see if that's the case. It may or may not. Some of the moves we get them correctly. Again, I'm very happy when we manage to anticipate the Super Gems moves. Again, I think that's probably the best exercise for any chess student, teacher, or whatever we take ourselves to be. But we definitely do love the game. So, I guess the king moved out of the pin, but that is pinnable again. You can switch a pin for another pin. We can play rook e2, pinning the knight. For instance, just give an example. I like white a bit more. Despite of the fact that we got actually the same material, I think white is a bit better here. I think white is doing a bit better here. Definitely doing a bit better here. Definitely doing a bit better. Okay. Calling the shots, making the pins, and things like that. Awesome and very good. I think we did say something about a Facebook. I think we are simulcasting on Facebook too, right? Let me just see that. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do the simulcast on Facebook. Okie dokie. So, what is Daniel can actually sit down and cook something nice. I think he likes to cook. So I think he's gonna sit down properly and cook very nicely. Something like rook e2 springs to mind. Knight is pinned again. Like perhaps maybe what? Apart from h4. I mean, you want to limit black's pieces activities. So that knight in particular, thank you very much for following, my friend. I need to figure out the way to actually getting the information displayed. Yeah, there is a frame on owned.pro. There was a frame which I think I'm gonna revert to that frame because I've heard the noise woo, but I can't read it on a screen. So now that is something I wouldn't have expected. This kind of backward moves, knight c1. This is nothing. There's not something that you think about playing very often. The backward moves, I think they are the most difficult for the human mind to assess because you normally play chess wanting to go towards your opponent and creating threats and attacking and posing problems and stuff. But getting the pieces on the back rank is not really that instinctive human behavior as a chess player. Now, let's look for the reasons. I guess he wants to readjust the knight, but I'm trying to figure out how exactly he play. Ah, 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, very naughty boy. That's exact. Knight b3, knight a5. Well, that makes sense. Where he just cut it off right now. Can we make, mind you guys, can we make a rook e2 and then this? I'm asking for a friend. Can we play rook e2, which is a pin, and then we might dream of knight c5? Yeah, Trouter, it is interesting for sure. By the way, in case you didn't know, in case you are a little streamer like myself now, since October 2023, you're actually allowed to simulcast on Twitch and other platforms, which I didn't know. I just found out today because I was with the old policy, which was downright awful. And then Twitch modified the policy. So just to let you know, in case you are streaming or you planning to stream and stuff, so you can simulcast now on Twitch and other platforms, unless you have a very special clause on your contract and something. So, yeah. Which is, I think, incredibly beneficial to allow streamers to go and increase their network, grow the network, not being limited just on Twitch, which is not the only platform, is it? Right, knight d4. Knight e4. Well, if this guy takes, you're going to take with a bishop, and then you play bishop c5. Check and thank very much. Again, no, what I mean is you as a streamer, you can multi-stream, like using Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform you want at the same time. And they did that since October 2023. I wasn't aware. I knew only of the old policy. Yeah. That's important, especially for small streamers, not for Nakamura, who's just moving the cohort of viewers anytime he wants to whatever platform he wants to, negotiating for a very good terms and conditions. No, I'm just talking about guys like that get just a handful of viewers like myself now in the building stage. So it's really helpful that I'm able to multi-stream on a few platforms simultaneously. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Okay, bishop here, because exactly as we said, they try to prevent the bishop c5 check and stuff. King centralizes itself. You do want to get your boy in the middle here, especially as we approach the end. And probably this one, you can't do this. You can't do king here because we're going to do this and black is going to cry all of a sudden. What is with this move here? I know it's want to be disruptive. Question is, Trouter, if you think h4 should be playable here. So h7, h5, h4, is that playable? Well, it is. You kind of weaken the g, but or do you play h3 and after this you move this, but then you're going to allow an almighty bishop cutting off all the dark squares. So feel free to tell me, how do you envisage this? Or do you go for a check first, mind you? You go for a check, king's going to go places, and yeah, like, can you do then this? Kind of like, but then you're going to run into this. It's not that easy, not that easy. So guys, this is the last game in the second round of GRENKE Open and Classical 2024. Last round of round number 6. Not tomorrow, day after tomorrow would be the rounds number 7 and 8. So tomorrow being Friday, right? Tomorrow Friday, no, but Saturday, okay. Cool stuff, right? So guys, feel free to type in, Trouter, what would you play if you were Daniel Friedman now? What would you cook? Yeah, for white. Would you do check? Would you do h3? Would you do h4? None of these? Would you do what? Would you do rook d3? Just to making sure you've got the third rank where the king is covered. and do nothing about this black pawn advances. So would you do rook d3? Do you know why I would consider rook d3? I would consider because I want to make sure that my bishop is free to go wherever they want without worrying about c3 check and things. So plus, I want to move the king and place it on a white square where the black bishop... Okay, h3, I did mention that one. I mentioned 3 ideas, h3, h4, rook d3. I'm not sure what the engine would say. I don't check with the engine during the live games. You're talking about Triton moving the king from e7 to e6. I'm not sure because it's checkable. Why would you get checked or get yourself in a pin? I'm not sure that's the wisest decision. Maybe you want to move king f7 though, away from the e5. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You kind of can, but it looks fishy. You kind of can, but I'm not sure I can recommend this. Sorry. Bang, boom, bang, boom. I don't know. Are you comfortable with this? I'm not. Unless you want to do a threefold repetition or something. If you want to be really funny, you probably can. So I wouldn't move the black king up the board. Yeah, I mean, you got to investigate some other ideas. So now I think Vincent very rightfully looks for attacking the white king from behind. Checks. And the king, mind you guys, the king has to stay in close proximity of g3. Therefore, moreover, d3 was probably very much advisable. You probably can play rook d3 now, or rook f, and then you're going to be attacking in this fashion, defending g3 and attacking the rook. Maybe. I mean, maybe. You really want to keep an eye on the a3 too. This thing might be happening too at some point. I don't know when, how, in what order. But then again, a rook d3, I think. But hey, is this better, rook e2 and rook e? Look, I don't think you should be keeping the rook on a dark squares. So if you can, maybe... Okay. Rook d, rook e. What else? What else is here, guys? You definitely don't want to push. You definitely don't want to push this because you're gonna give the black bishop a lot of control over the dark squares next to your white king. So probably you don't want to push g4. And you may not want to push h4 either. You are seriously placing your pawns on dark squares. So probably if you can, don't. So rather d3, rook d3. Yeah, I'm trying to verbalize as much of my thinking, and maybe we can conclude rightfully. Okay. Hey, I've got this one right, fellas. Rook d3. Rook d3. I'm not Daniel Friedman, but anyway, sometimes I'm having decent ideas. And I'm sure you have them too, guys. Rook d3. So, hey, this is your idea, Trouter. This is your idea, brother. King goes on e6 now, exactly as you said. Weird. I mean, in principle, one of the tenets of ending, Trouter, says that try to move the king towards the middle of the board as you approach the end of the game. Right. Cool. But now, do you really want to play this? Can I just play this and attack your guy? Or can I just play this or this now? Two main candidate moves springs to mind now, ladies and gents. I want to make sure I'm cutting off the black king from getting to d5. Therefore, Trouter, I'm thinking about bishop b2, bishop e3 for the time being. For the time being. I want to attack and I want to... Yeah. No, the black rook actually is a troublemaker. I'll admit this. Yes. Yes, the black rook is problematic. Yes. True. Absolutely true. Would you play bishop e3 here? If there is rook f1, I reckon you could go king g2. And, okay. Bishop e3. There you go. The second move. Played it like Mr. Friedman there. All right. Okay. Okay. We got it there. We've got it. We get there. We get there. Bishop e3. Bishop e3. The rook cuts off the black king from getting closer to action. Bishop e3 attacks the rook. And I guess after rook f1, which is not going to happen. Which is not going to happen. But if there were to be, it's king g2-ish. Okay. Now, what? Sorry, that was. I thought I saw rook g1. Sorry for panicking, but what the heck is this? Can I just play king g2 now? So that was a mouse slip, Trouter. There was no rook g1. That would have been completely ridiculous. No, no, no. It's rook h1, which attacks h3. To my understanding, king g2 would be... There you go. The third move. I managed to predict the third move of this guy. King g2. Defending, attacking. Defensive, offensive choice for white here. Rook got to move. Rook has got to move. They got to move the rook. I reckon could be E, could be where? Well, or maybe A. I'm not sure. Rook has got to move. A. I got I want to. Well, not too many options though, so you see. Not too many options. Also, mind you, Trouter, rook A1 wants to go to A2. Wants to go to A2. And check you from the side. Good stuff for white is that they've got a rook on the third rank, as we had said, and I think that's cool. How can white create a passed pawn in this position? The big question is here. I think you may want to play king f3. If rook a2, you may want to play king f3. And probably a draw. So Trouter, if pieces disappear, and if white king manages to march on to the middle, you might be winning with white. If white king is on the e file and you trade off the pieces, but that's easier said than done. I'm not sure that's going to happen. We might be seeing all sorts of things. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this stage. If you want to play prophylactically, king f3 would be an idea. If you want to play this prophylactically, king f3. Now, it's possible that Vincent would go check again or rook h1 in order to make a threefold repetition. But I don't think Vincent wants to repeat. But I think it's worth testing. I think I would play king f3 here. I want to check, I want to probe if my opponent is keen on repetition. If they want to repeat, I need to take a decision that if I want to press for a victory or I'm happy with a draw. Yeah. The main reason for white to wish to continue here, it's the pawn majority again. The pawn majority on the queen side is actually what may want to make white continue the game. All right. So Trouter, are you streaming yourself? Like, are you streaming chess or strategy games, or you haven't decided yet? Okay. Because now with the new modification on the Twitch policy, it's really cool now because you can multi-stream or simulcast. That's really helpful again for small, medium streamers like myself. It's really helpful in terms of growing the network. That is bishop f4. That's a decision. This is a very committal decision, Trouter, because it is willingly generating a two isolated pawns. This was a committal move. The move Friedman played is a very, very committal move. I'm not sure the best though. I'm really not sure. Dude, I'm telling you honestly, I'm only using 7% on my PC as of now. 7, 8% from my computer usage, and I'm streaming on 4 platforms at the same time using the software called Restream, but there are others too. So just 7% is very small power use. It's not that much. When I'm using a freaking frame from owned Pro, that really gets my computer usage to 50%. That's very annoying. So that's why you don't see now that frame, that flickering frame, the bluish flickering frame that updates all the time. The followers, the subscribers, who subscribed, who followed, who donated the bits and this and that. So that frame from Own Pro pushes my computer usage to 50% or even more. That is why I'm just streaming clean now. You can see just the messages, you can see my mug, you can see the pieces here, you can see just the clean desktop now with no added frames and things. A very small CPU usage, 7, 8, 9%. Doesn't matter how many platforms simultaneously go out because they go via Restream. Yeah, exactly. So sort of, yeah, it does, Phil. It does. Because you know why? Black Rook is gonna have to move, then White's gonna play back again, King. So unless there's something we had missed. But Rook, can Black play this? Can Black play King E4, Trouter? Honest, genuine question. Can you play King E4? Asking for a friend. Can you do that? Or do you just move the rook and admit to draw and leave to fight another day or something? If king plays e4 and you grab the other guy, they're going to take you. But then the black king had quicker. Ah, it's the pawn majority idea. Damn it. It's the pawn majority. That doesn't work for black. It doesn't work for black, man. It doesn't work. You play this. It's very bad for black. King takes, you take. The problem is white is having pawn majority. And you got a problem with these two guys. And whilst you might be busy with these two guys, white king is going to be harassing your other pawns and things. So I don't think it works. I think the safest bet would be for black to run away with the rook. Probably back to a1 or something. I mean, where else do you go? You go on a, right? I don't think Vincent should play king e4 unless you calculate it very nicely and you come up with the idea that it's actually working. At least for a draw or something. I'm not sure. If it was just one white pawn and one black pawn, probably king e4 might be applicable because you're able with the black king to reach the f4 faster. Given the fact you do have pawn majority yourself, mind you. But I'm not sure in the current scenario with two white pawns versus one, king e4 is going to work. I mean, just my personal understanding. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. That's how I understand it. And there is another issue. King e4, damn. I did mention it, but I wasn't confident about this. Sugar. Rook a1 now. No? Oh, because it's meaningless. Because after this guy takes, you can't take. Look, there was something fishy. I think black should have played for a draw. What the heck's going on here? What did he do? Because now he's got two passes. How do you stop this, guys? Okay, this guy is going to fall. It's black's turn. You can check this king. No, I think you better take this pawn. Blimey. Okay, that's going to be exciting. It's fun for ourselves sitting back. Yeah, there you go. So they took the pawn now. Man, it's so windy here. Right. King f4. King took the pawn. King f4. What is Daniel gonna do? Can you push? No, you cannot push. What do you play? Do you play this? Just to hit on that guy. What do you play? So 2 passes on the queen side. 2 passed pawns. Okay. It's not over. And I'm pretty sure, due to the time issue, it might be having a big impact on the decision. So king takes f4, last move that black played, Vincent played. And now I'm trying to figure it out what's the best way for white to play here. I'm thinking about this one, but then they can play either this or that. So it's not really doing big deal. We need to investigate what is the best way for white to pushing those guys up. Or maybe you need to readjust in order to play something else. Or maybe you should attack here. Then again, they move, you're going back. They move there. You're actually helping. So you see, if you're going with the rook to attack the g7 pawn, if you try to attack these guys, they're going to be moved. They're going to be moved. So you're actually helping the other guy, moving his pawn majority upon your king and lone isolated white pawn. So I'm not really convinced about the efficacy of attacking g7 or attacking any of the black pawns. I think white needs to investigate ways to advance his own pawns. But how? How are you going to do this? Can you play rook c6? If this guy plays this, you're going to play this. And, well, maybe. And maybe also you need to put a stoppage to the king. Maybe. Again, I don't think, yeah, and maybe rook to c3 could do rook f3, could do rook g3, stuff like this, long-term, medium. So really, maybe rook c6 is the best way to continue? What do you think, guys? What do you think, Trouter? And the other chess friends, guys, do you think rook c6? I guess this sort of debate goes through every chess player's minds when they actually facing challenges, scenarios. So we can conclude there is no way you're pushing. Okay. This guy pushed h3 to h4, which I reckon has to do with stopping g5, so to speak. So to speak. Now you've got yourself a check. Probably you're going to play. It's a little bit. I'm not sure about the quality of the move. Maybe I'm missing some subtleties. Now I reckon rook h3. I guess now white is very happy to draw. I don't know. Sorry, king h3. King h3, rook b3. And then you're going to go back. But when you go back, it's king g5 and you're going to drop this guy. So yeah, Trouter, I think you might be correct in your evaluation. I think you might be correct. I'm not sure abouteh4. Maybe we are wrong, but I think it makes a lot of sense what you're saying, my friend. That's might be the case. So again, king h3. I will check with the engine if rook c6 was the best move, because that's what I felt and I thought. It might be the best way to continue for white. Not to win, just to continue the game. Because it doesn't look like you're winning that easy with white, or even if you're winning at all. Not at all. Not easy. Nothing's easy at this stage. If you're an engine, yeah, it's easy. It's clear. But from a human psychology of a player, no easy at all. Not easy. So, king h3, rook b3, and you're going to have to drop the king on the second rank, then then king g4. That's exactly what is. So, hello there, Step. Long time no see. I had a friendly discussion with Pranav today, and he actually told me that it might be possible as of October 2023, 2023, that actually you can simulcast on all platforms, so you're no longer limited to Twitch. Hey, checkmate threat coming in a move. Of course, Daniel's gonna see it. You gotta move the king ASAP. There you go. Checkmate threat. King G3, fellas. And I'm gonna take your guy, and then good luck stopping me. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know what is Daniel gonna do now. King G4, Trouter. King G4. He pushed the king. Do you know what was the subtlety? Trouter and Step. The subtlety was to push the king, the white king, further away from for the black pawns that are going to come down the board. That was a grandmaster thinking. He threatened a checkmate to make the white king move away from the 3 black pawns. Now the subtlety is if this white king goes on c1, you're going to have to move the rook. If you move the rook here, they're going to play king c2. So king had been taken. You're going to play here, they're going to be attacking you further on, you're going to have to run away, and then they're going to push it here. You want to bet that's exactly what's going to happen, guys. It's so not over. It is so not finished. It's going to be a pawn race. Rook b3, king c2. You have to move the rook. Rook where? You tell me, where? Here? Okay. He already moved it. He didn't want to waste no time. Where do you go? Here? It's this and that. Where do you go? How do you play? No, because it's crazy. I mean, it's just oscillated. I mean, I'm just watching this game live and it's just oscillating. Now it looks like it's a big problem. I thought the idea to have threatened the checkmate on the white king and moving them further away to the left side was beneficial. But hell, when you push the white king, you actually encourage them to attack your rook, and now you got a problem. Because the rook here was actually guarding the advancement and stopping the main b5 move. So rook on b2 was actually stopping the very problematic b-pawn advancement. Now heck, deal with that if you can. Because this guy needs only 3 steps, and so there's a queen. Jesus Christ, he want to come with this guy now. And you're gonna give a rook or something if necessary to stopping this pawn, I'm telling you. Sorry guys, I can't even tell you who's gonna win or who's gonna... this is still happening as we speak. This is still... I might need another tea or coffee, but I don't want to drink now at almost 11 p.m. Then I'll stay awake all night long. I would give the shout out, guys. I'm going to put that frame on Twitch again. I'm going to put the frame again. What shout out, Karthik? I need to find the frame that actually gets all the platforms at once, because I've got friends via Twitch, via YouTube, Facebook, and Kick.com. So I need to figure out a way to get that notification frame or something. Rook e8 here. Rook e8. The purpose is simple. They want to get in front. They want to get in front of the pawn here. So if this is going to be this, they're going to stay there, and they're going to be marching with this. This is still very wild. This is very, very wild. It could be very well. By the way, guys, did you see the Rook a7 move? Rook a7. This guy goes here. Check. They take. And heck, it's... I don't know. Is this a draw? No, I don't want to ask the engine, because the engine has an answer for everything, okay? The engine knows already, like, since like 30 moves ago. But we as humans, we still have to make a heck of an effort to figure out what's going on. It might be also a4, this, this. But if this, you play this, they play this, you play this, they go here. Very difficult. Then you go a6. Then if they take, you go a7. Then they go here. Then you, I mean, my God, it's like 9, 10 moves. This is crazy. I mean, you really sure. And by the way, guys, look at the 40 seconds something for Daniel, 30 for Vincent. Very difficult. Exactly, Trouter. Bingo. You put the dot on the I. Very difficult. I mean, this is a heck of a lot of... There you go, a4. There you go, a4. I did say a4. So he wants to make sure that b6 pawn will be defended by a4, a5 after rook b8. And in the meantime, he plans on rook a7 and going from behind, so to speak, attacking g7 and possibly stopping this guy. And marching with a5, a6, a7. I did say exactly this. Exactly this I said. I already said that. It could be this. We're going to see this. No. You opted for this. Was this really the correct one? My God, I'm really fascinated by the complexity of this position. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, man, come on. Looks like black is winning. Guys, this is incredibly difficult. So this is very, yeah, of course, checks and things. White is actually willing to keep doing the checks and drawing. Then obviously you don't want to win. So if you can do a perpetual, you're going to do check all day. I think king can potentially... What? It's just... This. No, you can't do that. They're going to be playing actually this. Yeah. It might be a perpetual. It might be a perpetual. It might be a draw in the end. It's going to be a draw, guys. It's going to be a draw. Yeah, it's going to be a draw now. It's just too crazy to continue. You have to. White can't afford doing anything else. That's it, fellas. Draw. There is no shielding pawn or piece in between the rook and the black king. There's no shielding stuff. That's what is. That's it, fellas. Draw. But boy, what a crazy ending. And now the moment of supreme revelation, the epiphany. Let's see. 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, freaking 0, 0. Hey, you telling me black could have won? Jesus Christ. What? King g4. King g4. And black wins? Rook d... How are you winning? Rook d4. How is black winning? King g3. What's the progress here? Rook d3. Give me a break. King f2. Rook d2. Sorry guys, where's the winning? What? It was black winning. Now it's white's winning? Jesus, man. Come on. I mean, you can't do this. So the engine says we've got an almighty draw. And to my understanding, it is a draw. No, I think I got a depth 20. Stockfish 11 light, whatever. So depth 20, guys. I'm going to look at the depth and stuff like this, but... Okay, so to my understanding, in this position here, white needs to check all the time. Looks like black is winning, but how the hell are you winning here? Sorry, I don't see the winning path for black. What? Oh, it's a long discussion. Karthik, what I'm gonna do tomorrow's stream, I'm gonna actually, if you're coming back tomorrow, we're gonna be looking at some of your game, and we're gonna be discussing punctually, because it's a long discussion how to increase your rating. I mean, we discuss at least a lot. It's a lot of discussing. So guys, look at this. They say it's a draw. Still say it's a draw. A4. Well, I'm happy at least I came. Oh my god. A4. I did say rook c8. I did say that thing. Looks to me the only way to continue. Now the engine says, okay, I'm going to put it on other engines, lead chess and stuff. See that guy. Okay, so that was the best one. That was the best one. If you play something else, you toast here. If you do rook b8, I think you lose. If you do rook b8, you are losing because of this pawn. That's a good question. If you do g5, you're still losing. You're losing because the rook is going to play here, stopping this guy. And when you try to stop b8, I'm going to play a5. I guess. So the reason why... So you said, why not g5? Let's see if I was correct. Yes, it's rook h7, which draws. Look, this is very advanced. Actually, you're winning only with a5, which I did mention a5. So you don't play rook. You play a5 first. This guy's going to do what? Rook h8 to stopping you, but you still got this avenue, I guess. You've got rook d7. You've got whatever they do now. h3, right? Okay, cool. You're going to stop it with rook d3. King's going to move somewhere. You're not... what do you do here? You're marching down with either b7 or a6. It's crazy. If this guy goes, you're going to play this, and you're going to sack the whole rook, but then you're going to get a queen regardless, because your two connected white pawns are already on the 6th rank. So you are going to get yourself a queen. You're going to get yourself a queen. This is very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. And it was a tough one. Very difficult one. My days. Yeah, we managed to get some of the moves, guys, but that was so difficult. All right, so people, thanks very much. Step, Karthik, thank you for stopping, fellas. Who was that? Trouter, very much appreciate your presence, my friends. So as of today, I've restarted the multi-stream. So when I'm going to stream, I'm going to be on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Kick.com. So if you guys use these platforms, we're surely going to meet up again. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, Karthik, so you get notified when I go live. And I'm gonna look for a frame that actually well, I got a bit more free time now because the schools are off, most of the clubs. So I would reckon maybe 6-ish p.m. UK time. By the way, if you subscribe, you may be receiving like a notification that I went live. And I'm going to try find that frame that gets all the notification from Twitch and YouTube, and so you guys know who's following, who's not following, and stuff like that. Yeah, let's see if I manage to find something. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we can analyze some of our games. Cheers, man. Because there's no GRENKE tomorrow. There's just, they play Saturday, not tomorrow, Friday. So we're going to analyze some of the stuff. Cheers, fellas. Thank you.